Well, hello loves, and welcome back to Musey's Modern Dreadfuls. Today we have another story for you from the fabulous blairdaniels, and it is named There's Something Wrong with Dr. Marnen's Patient Files. And without too much chin-wagging, let's get right to it. This week, I was supposed to digitize all of Dr. Marnen's patient files. I was feeling good about my progress. Then I saw it. A second filing cabinet hiding behind the shelves that I'd never noticed before. Sighing with fatigue, I yanked open the drawer. I plucked out a file from the A section and began to read. Aberdeen, Carla. All right, Carla. Let's see if you're in the system. I set the file on the desk, sat down at the computer, and typed in her name. Nothing came up. Aw, hell no. I'm not doing all files in this cabinet. But I sighed, opened a new patient file, and began copying the data. Carla Aberdeen, DOB, 42472, 5'9", 176 pounds. Finally, I got to the doctor's notes. They were written in messy script as if in a hurry. I put on my glasses and read. Complaints of eczema. Itchiness after eating some fruits. Lungs may be useful. I stopped and reread the last line. Lungs may be useful? I shrugged, figuring it was some sort of mistake. I typed it into the computer and took the next file from the cabinet. A Mr. David Akowski. But the doctor's notes were even stranger this time. Family history of heart attacks. Large skin surface area? I typed him into the system and stared at the screen. Large skin surface area. What does that even mean? When I got to the next one, a Miss Katarina Allenson, I felt the knot in my stomach tighten. It was a file for a little girl, and it read, Night terrors ever since 6th birthday. Mom says increased anxiety. Feet are perfect size. I rolled away from the computer, heart pounding. I picked up the file and studied it. There must be an explanation, but I couldn't think of any. I took a deep breath. Then I picked up the phone and dialed the number on Katarina's files. But what will I say? I didn't even know. I just had a terrible, nagging feeling, and I wanted to do something about it. But I wasn't in luck. We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected and is no... What are you doing? I whipped around. Dr. Marnen was standing in the doorway, his arms crossed over his white coat. I was, digitizing the files, like you told me to, I stuttered, slamming down the phone. Not those files. He violently grabbed the files from the desk, shoved them back into the file cabinet. Then he pulled a small key from his pocket and turned the locks on each drawer. Click, click, click. Finish this up, okay? I nodded, and then he was gone. The silence pressed in. The waiting room was empty and still. I checked the clock. 4:45. No more patients would be coming in. It was only Dr. Marnen and me in the office now. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I shut down the computer, grabbed my coat, and started for the door. As I hurried toward the exit, I saw Dr. Marnen at the end of the hall. He was opening a door. The door, he told me, went to the supply closet. But yet, beyond him, I could see a set of stairs snaking down into the darkness. The next morning, I arrived at work at 6:45 a.m. The halls of the office were dark and silent. I reached for the light, and it flickered on above me, white and blinding. I padded down the gray carpet, past my usual desk, and headed for the supply closet. I took a deep breath and turned the doorknob. Locked. I expected that. I reached into the pocket of my hoodie, pulled out the lock picks, and set to work. Within 20 minutes, the door was wide open. I took a hesitant step forward. Creak. The wooden step groaned in reply. As I walked further down the stairs, the air grew damp. The stench of chemicals filled my nose. Smack! My feet hit the floor. The basement was dark. I fumbled for a light switch, but my hands fell on a smooth, cold wall. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my phone, and turned on the flashlight. I froze. Dozens of lights shined back at me, glinting, winking in the darkness. "Hello?" I called out. I shifted the phone. Each light moved in unison. Oh, reflections. I breathed a sigh of relief. Tall shelves stretched the length of the room, creating narrow, shadowy aisles that led to the back. The shelves were stacked with glass bottles. The bottles were of all shapes and sizes, filled with murky liquid. Each one reflected my light, like the multifaceted eye of some gigantic bug. I slipped down the aisle. The silence pressed in. The shadows shifted and flickered with each bouncing step. Finally, after what seemed like forever, I made it to the back of the room. I froze. Standing before me was a gurney. Its metal parts were caked with rust. The mattress was riddled with holes. Little bits of plush filling spilled out onto the floor. It looked like it had been taken or stolen from a hospital decades ago. But that wasn't the worst part. On it was a body, covered in a white, stained sheet. My heart pounded in my chest. He's keeping a body down here? Terrible images filled my head. Dr. Marnen killing people, stealing from the morgue, botching autopsies, and those notes about the skin, the feet. I need to know. I grabbed the edge of the sheet and yanked it off. A young man stared back at me, eyes glassy and still. Jagged stitches marred his skin, but in a way that suggested precision rather than an accident. They neatly circled his eyes, trailed across his chest, covered his wrists. My eyes trailed down his hips, his scarred legs. He had no feet. I shrieked and jumped back. Clang! I whipped around. My foot had collided with a metal rolling tray. On it was a piece of paper, stained and slightly crumpled. I picked it up and began to read. 6 feet to 6'4", large feet, excellent lung capacity, blue eyes if in stock, rush delivery. And in a little box in the lower right-hand corner, order placed 10/5/2018. The page fluttered to the floor. I don't know how long I stood there, heart pounding, mind racing. All I know is a deep clang jolted me out of my thoughts, along with Dr. Marnen's whistling. I took a slow, careful step back. The white beam of a flashlight swept over the room. I cowered behind the shelf, up against the cold glass. Thump, thump, thump. Dr. Marnen's heavy footsteps grew louder. I slipped around into the next aisle. Crouching, I peered between the jars, watching his large silhouette come into view. His flashlight swept over the shelves, slowly, methodically, as if he were looking for one in particular. The murky liquid inside each was illuminated with bright, penetrating light. Suspended in each one was something dark, misshapen, and terribly human. I let out a whimper. The footsteps stopped. Dr. Marnen whipped around. "Hello?" His voice was angry, loud, and jars rattled under his volume. "Hello?" I took off running. "Hey, get back here!" I ran towards the stairs as fast as I could. In my ears, the endless rows of jars flashed by me in the shadows. My feet hit the stairs. I took them 2 at a time. Slap, slap, slap. Dr. Marnen scrambled up after me clumsily. His wheezes echoed off the concrete. I reached the door and ran out into the parking lot. As I peeled out onto the road, I didn't look back. that was There's Something Wrong with Dr. Marnen's Patient Files by the fabulous and talented Blair Daniels, Reddit user Blair Daniels, and author in general Blair Daniels. And I need to cut it off there. It's hard to get alone time sometimes, with everything going on. So, Yippy-Ki-Ya, Musey-Lovers. I will get another one to you soon. I hope you enjoyed. And just a quick update. I've been hearing from subscribers again that they're not getting notifications. So, all I can say is unclick the bell and re-click the bell, and hopefully the bell will notify you again. Gosh, it's like they don't even care. Anyway, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye now.